thing to happen here on Night Market as what we saw happen on Gardens. Spooky definitely on the radar for Sadistic, but now you've got to change your focus here onto Clocks, who's coming up on that Earth Shatter. A lot is riding on Zombie to play just absolutely spectacularly here in this next fight.
We've seen a lot of big shatters coming through from Clocks. They immediately TP behind Sadistic here on the point. They're trying to keep their Reinhardt alive. Gotta work around that Symmetra wall, blocking off a lot of line of sight for those healers. We see the Blizzard get thrown, and it is zoning a lot of Vanguard away. They can't find the kills they need, and Sadistic has brought this to close to last fight territory.
Similarly to last map, though, and so we know that the clutch potential is there on both of these sides, and right now I'm seeing it manifest a lot on the tank and the support lineup and synergy on the side of Enet. Coming into this next fight, it's going to be Clocks with a Shatter. Can they close it out with that ult?
Cookie from the high ground goes ahead and drops in while his teammates teleport from the back. There's the Diva Bomb from Vanguard, or sorry, from Sadistic trying to—
It's a massive stop!
Wow! What a crushing kill coming through on that remech, finding two, and I mean, that was easy money for Sadistic after that.
Oh yeah, the morale boost that you get, it's one thing to see blue light up the kill feed there and be like, okay, this is winnable, 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 right? But yeah, it's another thing to see that your diva has stepped on two members of the opposing team and see that you know, this is beyond a winnable fight. We're gonna be going all the way here to control control center.
Well, and those are the times when you hear the team, they are hyping each other up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hammer kills with Torb or whatever. But the Crush remech kill, honestly, I was so pleased when they kept that in the game after the experimental, because yeah, remechs are deadly and they are heavy, and physics-wise probably should take a big chunk out of your life. And not something I want to run into. Oh, good removal of these turrets right out of the gate. Those slow you down on top of doing damage, so definitely a nasty combination. Immos have to be committed early. So much damage from these Symmetras and Junkrats. Man, that is a lot of damage. You're going to have to mitigate. Shields are getting shredded so fast, Lord.
Yeah, look at how Sadistic is having to give so much space, but off a pick, they might be able to push and aggress onto this.
Yeah, and that's another pick coming through. They did manage to lose their Lucio, but a fast Ant Matrix coming through from Derpy, trying to change the tide of this fight, and they are finding the value. There's a shatter from Clocks, though, trying to turn it for his team single-handedly, but I don't think that's going to be enough. The numbers are there for Sadistic, and there's their cap.
I came really close to saying win the battle, lose the war, and I guess that's what happened on the side of Enet there. Although dropping Derpy here is a really encouraging thing for them.
This has to be huge. Oh wow, two people in the process. They did lose one person to the tire, but that is Spooky himself as well. He knows he's always vulnerable. Now it is about the tanks trying to take space. Vanguard rushing in. They're trying to keep this Reinhardt alive, but there is so much damage. The sim wall's making it even tougher, and that is Sadistic holding strong.
Yeah, really nice use of the defensive utilities to make sure that they can maintain a pretty nice hold on this objective. You know, you see this in narrative all the time. As soon as your opponent gets a little cocky, then they've already lost. And we saw Enet push in off those two picks, saying, you know, hey, this is very winnable. And saw Sadistic turn it right around. They'll be able to maintain this momentum with both tank ults.
This aggression screams shatter, and he's looking for it. Watch out, Ant Matrix, Fire Strike. Okay, squishies are safe from that, but still, the aggression is there. They're just hunting and waiting patiently, Lord, and I like that they're letting Enet basically rush into their trap versus, waiting for them and letting them engage on their terms. Oh, another crush!
That's three! That's three!
With these remech kills tonight.
Stuff from Rice, and as well I liked to see the I like seeing eliminations in the kill feed as a result of Shatter. You know, everyone, the Diva remech change has got a couple of people's jimmies a little rustled, but you know, nobody's talking about the Reinhardt change. Reinhardt can step on you too.
That's true, and now at 90% left, this is last fight territory for Enet. They have to do something. Shatter from the highest of grounds here on the map, catches almost everyone on Sadistic. There's the sound barrier trying to keep them alive, and it catches all of them. Absolutely massive coming through from Eclipse, keeping them alive in this fight, allowing them to handle this aggression coming through from Enet. It's just a little bit at the top, and that's it. It's going to be Sadistic taking Lijiang Tower.
That was quite the spectacle for Lijiang Tower, and I think that you'll definitely know this, Waffles. It all ends up playing out kind of the same way. It's that rush style DPS. Every once in a while, we get the luxury of getting to watch some disruption style composition on Lijiang Night Market. Ultimately, that's not what we got to watch. Heading into our next map, I think that we're going to see the looks change from both these teams. Although, seeing how comfortable all of these players are on their respective heroes that we've seen thus far, I wouldn't complain about another Brawl Mirror.
Well, I really enjoy the May. I know she can be a little tilting.
Okay.
As
well,
you
I
can
can't
see,
associate with you
I'm a
anymore.
fan. And she's got quite a cheeky play style, as you all have experienced. And we're about to go to Havana next, right? So that is the map where you can have that close hold, you can wall them off, you could potentially stall them at their own spawn for an obnoxiously long amount of time. Yes, it's a little bit abusive, but I love a good full court press. Okay? I've always loved it.
You can also run the Symmetra as well, yeah. So I think that Havana plays to some of the strengths that we've seen from both of these sides. You do get a couple swaps in here as well. JP coming in for clocks. And then Seafood will be coming in on the support lineup as well. So a little bit of different looks, a different look emerging possibly from either of these teams. A substitution in the support roster here indicates to me that we'll see the tanks change as well.
I wonder what type of change in play style we're going to see, because obviously Clocks had a very aggressive Rhine play style. I mean, it was a beautiful second floor shatter drop down. We saw how many people hit. Unfortunately, didn't quite have the results they're looking for, but of course, welcome to the life of a Rhine. You don't always get the follow-up you're looking for, or the heals, right?
Yeah. A lot of times the healing is what I feel on the tank
Right.
lineup. There's something else though about when I see a Reinhardt go for a mid-air slam. There's just it reeks of ego, and I know for a fact that Sadistic's got that in spades, and based on the way that Clocks was playing there in that last round, it's really great to see confident tanks. I don't see it in my ranked games for some reason.
No.
I might as well see it here in these organized matches.
I mean, it's definitely one of my joys of casting. I'm like, oh, these games are so much better than the ones I experience or could ever play at a level of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Welcome to sports in general, right?
Ooh, yeah. And don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. We're going to be seeing the double shield lineup come out. Seafood coming in on the support lineup. I'm actually really excited for, because that means I get to see some of my favorite Omnic lad Zenyatta take to the streets of Havana, help with that shield break. But look at the composition of Sadistic here, Waffles, and
Hey.
Tell me what they're going to be up to.
It's going to be a really nice close hold, and
you wanted to see it.
We're going to see them pretty much attempt to full court press Enet. The real thing is, are they going to be successful at such an aggressive strategy that is pretty high risk, high reward?
We'll have to see. I won't complain about an Orisa Reinhardt here, but got to be careful about that Sim Beam.
Maybe across the side for Sadistic. They're trying to watch all the walls. May walls coming up from both teams already, trying to section people off and prevent them from pretty much going back into the safe zone of spawn. Still digging it out here, back and forth with some chip damage. And it's JP first to go down. Exactly what Sadistic is looking for, and Vanguard needs to regroup as fast as they can if they don't want this to get out of hand.
You'll see the composition swap back to that rush-style mirror as well. Losing Rice's in there is dreadful here for Sadistic. They strike back with a Shatter and Amp Matrix combo.
That was such a fast Shatter coming through. He built that up incredibly fast. I wouldn't have been ready for that 100%. And, well, 5 people caught. They weren't either.
Yeah, it's a nice compensation for the loss of your off tank as well.
Okay, moving out here on the side, and well, there's the engagement coming through from Enet. They're still moving towards the point. They know that it's time to aggress forward. Ooh, not after losing those two though. Lord, they have got to go back and, well, maybe find a different alternative to how they're exiting this spot.
It's ultimately you kind of have to play into the win conditions. That's going to be Milkdud's Blizzard. You just got to be careful because Rice is in there, has already reconnected to the formation of Sadistic, so you don't want to get that Blizzard eaten.
Man, that would be devastating for Enet. That is a huge amount of space that they need to take, and well, they need to take it to get out of spawn is what it looks like. They have got this in the bag if they can speed just in time. Sadistic here needs to move to this left side, but it's the high noon from the right. Beautiful DM coming through from Rice is in there trying to protect his entire team. Now they need to move back over and help protect Rice himself. He does manage to take down Spooky, and another one in the bag. Sadistic is doing a phenomenal job at this full court press.
Yeah, there was an opportunity though there for Enet to have the Deadeye come out from one side and the Blizzard out from another. That would have been a particularly brilliant play that I'm missing out on, but there's going to be more. Look at that, 5 ults in the bank.
Diva Bomb over the top, and there's the Blizzard on top of it. A pin comes through and it pushes him right out of the immo. Oh, Rice is in there, eats the Blizzard from Vanguard, but they still had their sound barrier to try and keep them in this fight. Sadistic doesn't care. It is hammer in time, and they're just swinging away.
They're still in this. They're still in the faces of Enet Vanguard, and Vanguard aren't able to actually break out of this chokehold that they're in. A minute remaining in the time bank. No ults to speak of. The loss of Spooky, and at this point, I want to see Vanguard really just get the double shield, put someone on a bastion. Look at that. We see Bro going to the Roadhog. Get some individual plays out here to make things happen. You can't rely on the team dynamic anymore. You gotta take matters into your own hands.
There's the Amp Matrix here on this left side. It's going to be tough for Enet to move around. Some of them still continuing to opt to push through it here. A nice hook comes through. Zombie gets taken down. That is an opportunity for Enet to push forward. There's no shield for Sadistic anymore. You can see that Mei and the Symmetra are putting so much damage and CC into Enet. That sound barrier is beautiful coming through from Eclipse, keeping everyone topped off. And, well, still managing without their Rhine.
Yeah, and that's how you do it, right? You use the ultimates to compensate for a man disadvantage. And speaking of, you've got quite the defensive utility, the photon barrier, and the self-destruct from Sadistic.
A lot of space you can clear with that, and a lot of damage that you can mitigate. Shatter comes through, doesn't find as much as he's looking for. It does clip one, but 2 kills already in the pocket for Enet. But Rice is in there, absolutely clutching it out with this Diva this evening, and gets another 3 kills in the feed. A hat trick for him. He might just single-handedly win this fight for his team. Ooh, finally D-Mech focused down, but man, that was a lot of damage done, Lord, and we're in OT.
Yeah, it's I mean, you see this actually on Havana happen more often than on any other escort map, but the cart finally gets moving here as the overtime wake begins burning away. Now, the longer that's ablaze, the more slight the margin for error becomes. Bro with a whole hog will be able to secure this objective in the efforts of Sadistic to push Enet off of the point, but Bro has to live here first and not get frozen during whole hog.
Yeah, not get frozen. That's going to be super easy. Ooh, that's it right there. Absolute monster plays coming through from this Reinhardt, and cleared him out in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful combination there. In ranked gameplay, you call that lucky, and in organized team play, we would look at that and say that was really well timed, great coordination on the side of Sadistic that they got to demonstrate. But that's not only manifest in the Fire Strike Amp Matrix combo. That's displayed in its entirety in that full hold. Look at that. The card advanced a mere 54 meters. That's a small distance to travel if you're on the attack.
Yeah, just over an Olympic-sized pool, actually.
The things you learn. I'm going to write that down.
It's not something you need to know that much. But it is not very far at all, and Honestly, I think Sadistic just needs to either play patiently enough to get their ultimates and clear them out. We've seen how effective they are when they use those combinations, and if they don't manage to just start taking the space and winning fights naturally, I think they're going to look pretty good with those win conditions.
Yeah, I agree. And now, the strategy here for victory for Sadistic is very straightforward. But they're going to have to fight through a little bit of opposition here first. The close hold is going to be demonstrated as well on the side of Enet. A little bit telegraphed here. You know for a fact that Sadistic knows that this is coming. We'll see if it meets similar success.
All right, there it is. Something similar to what we saw originally with the teleporters on, not as far as we saw with Sadistic, but both Maywalls already out, and well, now they're engaging here right around the payload. Vanguard trying to continue isolating anyone who pops out one of the side teleporters, but now it is a full frontal assault. You can see them slugging it out back and forth here. The Reinhardt's just trying to get that cleave damage whenever they can. Wow, another fast shatter coming through from Zombie, taking down many people, and that is a huge momentum swing for Sadistic.
Oh, well, and there's your opportunity as well, Waffles, to say, I told you so. This is exactly what you saw coming on the side of Sadistic, saying, you know what, just play patient, build up those ultimates, and then use your most powerful cooldowns in the interest of victory. You won't see a second touch here from Enet Vanguard because they're going to get zoned out by the Matrix. Oh, they will get a touch!
Wow, that is actually incredible. They were able to manage that. You can see the aggression coming through as both Mei and the Reinhardt were trying to take space. With the tank going down, that is going to be Sadistic taking Havana.
My favorite call to make in any ranked game, I have a touch, but no stay. And that was the narrative here for Enet Vanguard. You know, just looking a little bit lost there for a few moments on their attacking, and then, you know, had the strat for the defense, ultimately just weren't able to execute it quite as well. I'm looking forward to possible mid-game adaptations that we continue to get to see from Enet, but I think that in order to accomplish those, I think that I'd like to see them on a different composition.
Yeah, you know, it's very obvious that Sadistic is comfortable with this
Yeah.
style of brawling and aggression. And I think that instead of trying to go toe to toe with someone who feels like that's their comfort or their expertise, maybe it's time to force them to switch to something that is accommodating you and because of what you're bringing to the table, right? If you can set the tempo like that, put the pressure on, well, maybe that sim won't be quite as effective at lasering you extremely fast.
Very true. And, you know, part of this is me saying that I want to see the series continue. I want to see more resistance put up from Enet Vanguard against Sadistic, who, I mean, just looks absolutely phenomenal on these maps as well. You can see the strategies and how much practice has been put into them. You know, another part of it, I just kind of want to see you know, I kind of want to see die for disruption style comp. It's my pace of Overwatch. So, you know, I've seen Enet Vanguard before. I mentioned it earlier. I like watching their brawl comp because they do play it pretty clean, especially on those control points. We saw them nearly snag away Lijiang Tower from Sadistic.
They have what it takes to continue the fight, but it seems like the engagement part is a little bit off on Havana. They were doing a lot better on that control point for that brawl style.
I think that into our hybrid game mode, I think that definitely the strategies for Enet are a little bit more. I don't want to say easier to pull off because Overwatch isn't really an easy game, especially in this organized team play and against an opponent like Sadistic. But, you know, definitely you're not going to get close held on Eichenwalde, and if you do, it's because your opponents are throwing. That might just be what Enet needs to really swing this series, or it's just some big old throws. You know, teach us some baseball here, Sadistic. Let's see what you got. And but they're not going to do that. They're going to stick to this good old-fashioned rush-style composition with the Symmetra, so the Cole Cassidy, and it will be mirrored for the most part on the side of Enet.
I think Havana also is one of those maps you could have. Some teams are pretty. It's tough. It's a very tough map to open up, and well, Look at all this space you have for Enet to already move on through. I like the TP around back coming through from Spooky as well to help and put pressure on the backline of Sadistic. Forcing out the immo already, retreating back some, trying to regroup. Can't quite make it back to his team in time. Still, they're going to slug it out, not give it up yet. Still anyone's match. Things happen in Overwatch, and he could get clipped by a Symmetra orb at any moment. Those turrets are putting a lot of slow onto Enet, and it's too much. Sadistic still gonna push him right back.
This is why back in spring of 2021 we saw the rush style composition emerge as just the dominant style of Overwatch. And you know why it makes its comeback on maps like these is when there is everything to focus on at once, especially against Sadistic, it's difficult to focus on one thing at a time. The amp matrix here from NK Alenka is definitely going to help narrow down that target here. Probably Zombie. Oh!
Wow.
It's a mirror dimension.
Hey, everything's exactly the same, except for Sadistic is the one coming out on top. Both teams engaged identically, and obviously you can see in the kill feed here what's going on. I gotta say, for this rush style, I want to call out those Lucios, who are the ones enabling the team to have this tempo and to actually be aggressive faster than everyone else is ready for, including their opponent.
You know, that makes me feel a little bit bad because I haven't been talking about the sound barriers from either side this evening, but they've been great.
Yes, and they have been life-saving and fight extending. There's a shatter coming through, clips one, and another rolls through, finding a couple others. There's the sound barrier once again from both teams almost simultaneously. Diva Bomb over the top to clear some space. Does find Spooky in the end. Vanguard is down a DPS and now down a support. That was a good brawl coming through, but we are at 1:48 left on the clock.
Yeah, and that was a costly fight for Enet in particular, sinking in that many ultimates and as well, unfortunately getting staggered here. Nothing you can do about that, and not getting even that 33% mark. Spooky's going to be looking to make things happen with this Death Blossom, and oh, no, they forgo the Death Blossom entirely, which is totally fine, because Rice is in there as a win condition here for Sadistic. As long as they're on the board, they're looking strong, and you don't have to play around that Ant Matrix for the ult anymore.
This is going to be interesting with the Pharmacy combination coming through from Enet. How will Sadistic adapt? This is a big change in team composition for Enet, and now they're continuing to aggress forward. Winston jumping up high, getting that beautiful bubble to keep him in this fight. Ant Matrix is committed by Sadistic to put the pressure on Enet, trying to keep them from aggressing forward, but it's going to run out, and when it's time, it's going to be Enet looking for that go button. There it is. Engagement once again, trying to keep that damage coming through. JP is charged up when he is pushing in, and it is absolute madness on this point. Sound barrier keeping Sadistic strong. There is another Earth Shatter. Not all the value he's looking for, but it's the Dragons tearing through for Enet. There's the barrage, taking down Derpy, and that as both supports off the table. It is going to be Enet coming through with a lot of manpower, but they've lost. Lord, this is all over the place. Enet has the chance to take it if they want, though.
Oh, but there's another win con stacked onto more victories here. Small wins accumulate into a point capture almost in overtime for Enet. Vanguard looking a little too close for comfort in my comp games. I say that was a little too harrowing, but at least we got it. We made something happen for Enet. That's the comms, and as well, oh man, I'd love to hear the comms, because when you are down in the series like this one, that's when you've got to be the most active. That's when you got to be the most vocal. I feel like I'm getting, just by seeing their gameplay, I'm getting to hear a little bit of that.
Absolutely, and these comms are always crazy. I'm sure ours are in our games too. You know what it's like. I love this drop down coming through from Sadistic. An ante on the table here. Derpy is taken down as a result. Couldn't keep in the immortality field. Still some back and forth coming through, and a lot of picks from both teams. Right now, Enet is still pushing the point forward, and in the end, he's gonna have possession.
Yeah, the drop down was nice to wear down a little bit of time if it had been successful in the bank against Enet, but those picks, at least in the position that the cart was in, those picks favor Enet, and as well help them to generate a couple of more ultimates that they'll be able to stack into this next fight. It's really just getting Rices in there out of mech so that you can get the follow-up damage onto these ults.
Metro is going to be the opening ultimate used for this fight as Sadistic wants to engage. There is the Valkyrie in response from Enet, trying to keep their team topped off, and now it is a slugfest on the point. All those turrets are lasering people, but not quite enough. There is still a lot of damage coming through from that Pharah, but can she continue to put the damage in? There it is, the chase coming through onto the back. Does manage to take it. Oh, her pocket is clipped by the D.Va bomb. Darn.
Poor MK. Poor Mercy. That was a really nice kind of juke of the bomb there from Spooky. I liked that.
Yeah.
And you've gotten Rices in there out of mech. Oh, Rices in there is out of the fight. This is a win for Enet. That's all they need. They just need Rices in there out of the field.
Here's the engagement across the bridge, and now Sadistic has to push out of these small hallways into a grab. Now they've been antied on top of it, and well, they have an ant matrix to try and shoot through, but I don't think that's going to be enough. There is so much damage, and we know exactly where you're going to flood out, the right or the left hallway, and it is free fire day here for Spooky on this Pharah.
Again, with a pretty narrow time bank here to work with, but picking up a win on second objective, the game becomes more and more winnable the further this payload progresses. And look at the ultimate bank here for Sadistic coming into this next fight only with the Blizzard, compared to, not necessarily the slurry or the barrage, if you will, of ultimates that we'll see deployed here by Enet in this next fight, but definitely some tools in the box here to use.
It'll be a lot easier for Zombie to shatter multiple people in this area, but he dies to their own barrage. The MO is there, and so is the ice block coming through from Janner. Now the Blizzard has been thrown, but there are no kills off the tail end. Everyone had died in the process, and now Sadistic is on the back foot. They have got to regroup if they are going to stall this payload before the end.
You see Jaffner finally swamped to the Cole Cassidy as well, a direct response to Spooky, but it might be too little too late here.
Man, this is going to be tough. Are they even going to be able to touch? Yes, just at the last minute, Rice is there. Of course he is. Big Anti coming through. Shattered is going to take down JP, but will it be enough for Sadistic? The D.Va bomb does put some pressure in the back, but now we are at 25 seconds left on the clock. Ant Matrix comes through from Derpy, and the res is attempted.
A massive res in front of the window!
Exactly! I can't believe that happened. What an amazing res coming through from MK, and now Valk has been popped on top of it, keeping their team alive. Spooky does go down as a result, but I don't know if that's going to matter. There is a lot of pressure coming through from Enet. There it is, the nano boosted monkey, but he's got to push into the sound barrier, stay on the point because it is 0.83 meters away. A big slam comes through from Sadistic onto that zombie wrecking ball. There it is, a molten core. That's going to be so much area taken away from Vanguard to try and push on this. The dragons are on the point, and the tanks are just trying to stall it out as long as they can in this OT time. Wow, that was one Lucio rollout. He was there so fast, but in the end, only 2 points capped for Enet.
Cool. I've been trying to I've been trying to trend set the style of buttoning my collared shirts all the way to the top, but I might have to loosen a few buttons here. It's feeling a little warm here between these two teams. I feel my heart racing just a little bit in the latter stages of these team fights as they break out. I mentioned earlier that I kind of wanted to just for my sake, because I'm a selfish person, I wanted to see the dive comp emerge. Why not just the beautiful marriage between both dive and brawl style compositions? Let's go on the double bubble to take a pharmacy into the skies to wreak havoc in the mid lines of Sadistic. That was exactly the strategy that I realized I needed to see from Enet, and as well for Enet to push all the way to the not all the way to the very end, but you might as well say that you did.
It was a much better performance coming through when they did switch over to that comp, and I think that they did a good job playing just patiently enough to allow JP to get charged up, because I I didn't feel like it was a very overly slow charge up for JP and for their aggression to really take hold. So obviously doing a fantastic job of just soaking up the damage on those bubbles.
Yeah, really good stuff. Now we're going to see a much different look from them. It's going to be the double shield brawl comp with the Rhine Sigma, but Spooky is still playing this Pharah, which is I think is still really good for Enet because because Sadistic still doesn't have that hit scan.
Still have the pharmacy over the top. Spooky's already gone down. Look, he just dropped down and kissed Derpy right there with a rocket. My goodness, the audacity, Lord.
Oh no, and now you're going to see the sustained suffer here for Sadistic.
Wow, I mean, that was absolutely brutal, and now Enet just continuing to flood the kill feed. Spooky goes down to himself, but I think that's going to be okay as Enet manages to stabilize after that first push.
And you end up generating quite a bit of objective progress there if you are Team Sadistic, as well as some ultimates in the bank here as well. Surprisingly enough, it's actually Will who's closest to their ult. Derpy never had the chance to generate that Ant Matrix because, you know, Spooky is farming Barrage off of them.
Yes, and we all know how much damage that is. There's the barrage coming through, but those are the immortality fields we are looking for. Bryce is in there, takes down Spooky in the process, and Will is trying to laser down the tank, playing around his own ultimate wall. There's a shatter canceled in the middle. Absolutely nasty coming through from this DPS right here. Wow, the definition of laser go burr.
And it will reward Sadistic here with a point capture with a much better time bank than Enet had to work with on their attack. That being said, stymieing teams here as the defense on Streets phase of any escort or hybrid map, it can be complicated, but you can make it simple. I think that for Enet, I want to see a little bit more patience with these ultimates. They're really eager to use these because they want to resolve team fights really quickly, start generating that next ult like we're seeing with Spooky already nearly halfway to that next barrage. They're going to emulate the same style of engagement here as well.
There is the immortality field just in the nick of time after that flux, but I love all this damage coming through. Enet needed to be following up on those ultimates from their tanks to really take down Sadistic and stop them, and there it is, beautifully done.
Yeah, Waffles, that was a little bit more successful than the drop-down engagement of Sadistic onto Enet.
It was kind of a juke drop down because JP used their flux, so he didn't really like drop down all the way right away, right?
Lifts himself back up into the air.
Oh, now we see them engaging around, well, Jaffner is moving around to the side. He's got the high noon. He wants some eyes taken off of him so he can get in a good position to really sneak up on Enet. Now there's the shatter coming through, and it's a flashbang that's going to stop Clocks in his tracks. Molten Core comes through, taking a lot of space and preventing a lot of advancement, and Enet looking good here on this defensive hold once again. Oh.
Zombie gets the drop there.
Yeah, and that was an aggressive barrage coming through. Surprised that was devoted. There's the flux on top of it. Holy cow, they do not want to give up this fight. Both teammates going
the sound barrier.
Toe at it. My goodness.
Eclipse committed the sound barrier. It doesn't necessarily swing the fight, but it keeps Sadistic sustained around this corner while the rest of the team reformats themselves.
Okay, that was a nice, soft regroup from both teams, right? There's a lot of trickling going on. Now we're just dropping Molten Core from the high ground all on top of the point, right? That's a lot of space that Sadistic needs to avoid walking on for now. They're moving around the top, and, well, high charged Will on this Symmetra could be really deadly. We see Spooky trying to get that back angle, and Janfer goes down as a result. That is, that's the main threat to Spooky right there, off the table, Lord.
Yeah, it means that they're going to be a little more free to rain damage down on the midline of Sadistic, but gotta watch out because Rice is in there again. Is still in mech.
Does manage to get the kill. There are a couple of exchanges as the tanks get aggressive on Enet. It's going to be too much for Sadistic, but we still got some ultimates coming up and 1:52 on the clock.
Hello.
Yeah, and this is really good for Enet. They've kind of worn down that time bank. Remember, it was 4.5 minutes remaining for Sadistic when they captured first point, and now they are kind of getting a little bit stonewalled here. Pay attention to this flux from JP. I anticipate it blurring out the immortality field, and then you won't have that for the consecutive stages of the fight.
Tread carefully by the bridge. You have a pharmacy. And the last thing I want to see is Sadistic get booped off the map just before they can engage. You see, there it is. JP's Flux is actually looking to open up the fight. He drops very, very low, manages to stay alive just by the skin of his teeth. There's Sadistic now getting the kills they need through this Amp Matrix and putting the pressure onto Enet. Card still technically rolling backwards, so gotta win the fight and also move the card.
Oh, there's another barrage, and it's well timed from Spooky.
Daphner, is he? Oh my gosh, he's gonna clutch it out for his team.
That's absolutely massive here. It means that Sadistic is more than able to stabilize. In spite of the use of ultimates from Enet, they're going to be able to continue pushing here.
All right, Daphner pretty much stole the show right there, just with some beautiful McCree play. You know, I'm a fan of the hammer kind of lady, but he's a headshot kind of guy, so you got your skills, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Open core thrown here by Enet. Doesn't matter! Shutter already took down 2 Peeper, and Jaffner channels his own High Noon in the back. It does zone a lot of people out of Enet, but there's still a couple stragglers here on the point. Sadistic does need to handle them as they're going to continue to flood into the point. Rice trying to get the kill just before he dropped back down, and there it is. Sadistic going to be taking the second. Oh, not quite yet. Wow, absolutely fantastic job from Enet, continuing to hold this checkpoint for every little bit they can. The Shatter tries to come through, doesn't quite find the targets he's looking for, but this is the OT bar time triggered. At the minimum, Enet should be very happy with the space and time that they have burned off this clock. They are not giving it up. JP just spinning to win in the classic way, but now finally, Sadistic gonna take that second checkpoint.
Oh yeah, and you know, they're happy as well, despite having needed to use kind of all the tools of the trade to take that. Enet is as well content with being able to force out those ultimates. And can we just talk briefly about how Clocks got cheated out of their Shatter, trying to stomp the remech, and you know, that animation goes through and you got those iframes to work with. Nice stuff from Rice in there, but I feel bad for Clocks.
Yeah, you know, too slow, so sad, and you missed it by that much, my friend. There's the minefield online from JP, and that could be so difficult for Sadistic, right? There's a lot of difficulty pushing into it and dropped in the part of the payload itself. Eclipse already taken out, and that's going to have to be Sadistic regrouping for a solid last push.
I'm curious about Jaffner on the Tracer. I think that we might see them get back on the Colcast, but no, they're actually gonna, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, I saw it coming. You're going up against Milkdud on the Hanzo, and that's just a tough matchup. They're coming into this fight with the Dragons as well, and Clocks hopefully doesn't get cheated out of another Shatter this time.
Everyone's beefed up after Eclipse's sound barrier, but they have jumped straight into the Dragons. Now the Storm Arrows finish off even more people after that. Enet continuing to aggress forward here. They pushed past Sadistic's Immortality field, Amp Matrix, and now there's the tire. No targets found as Lucio O just jumped away. OT bar triggers down, and that is going to be Enet taking their first map in the series.
Really nice stuff. Not only do you get to see those mid-game adaptations that I've been kind of desiring, you also get those compositional swaps to, you know, I said it there on Streets phase of Enet's defense. You know, it's not necessarily simple, but you can make it more so. And that's exactly what Vanguard was able to do with those compositional changes, really enabling some of the dive and some of the brawl with that double bubble composition.
Exactly.
Really good stuff. And Sadistic definitely looks a little bit less comfortable on that brawl composition. I'm a fan of, I mean, don't get me wrong here, we're casting for KillShot Esports. I'm a fan of Sadistic, but you know, I like seeing him pushed. You know, what can I say? It's good Overwatch.
You know, yeah, it's competition, okay? And at the end of the day, I'm here to see the good competition. And no one wants to see anyone get stomped. I want to
Oh
see some
yeah.
pushback, all right? And I'm sorry, Sadistic. It doesn't matter if you win because you got to grow and get better. And it is great to see, Enet really pick up the pace and show that they are here to compete and they're not just going to get swept under the rug. I really like the tempo and momentum I think that they
Traveling
have
to
set for
Hanamura.
themselves going into this next map of Hanamura. And, the Pharah seemed to be working for them. They were getting a lot of
Initiating
that
match.
pressure damage from the side that was throwing Sadistic off, and it was not happening from the earlier comps.
Yeah, just a little bit. And that's a really excellent point that you make there as well, Waffles. There is great pace setting of these team fights being established by Enet. And it's really the kind of mastery over the swing fight that we're seeing give Sadistic its competitive edge here. It's going to be a clash of styles as we head into Hanamura, the crux of all organized team play and the bane of all solo queue ranked gameplay. 2CP. The nature of our next map means that coordination has to be there, comms have to be vocal and clear, and as well, maybe we'll see the double shield work against this rush style comp, but it's Hanamura. You run rush here.
Yes. So Hanamura, I think, is one of the most difficult attacking maps on that first point because the choke is the one main choke, right? You have the little window. Some of the characters can have some wide rollouts that utilize the map terrain, but it's not like Volskaya where you can pick right or left of that car and actually have some natural cover. This is one of the hardest funnels. Just like Anubis. Yay, 2CP.
Oh, we love it. I like 2CP. I don't like control point.
So I'm the opposite of you then. I love the aggression from the control point and King of the Hill, and right now Sadistic is playing King of the Hill as they have already been set up pretty much solidly with this double shield. I love that JP uses that kinetic grasp, taking those fire strike, trying to prevent Zombie from getting that charge. He's trying to get aggressive here and just cleave forward. Immortality field taken out of the picture for Sadistic, so death is on the table. There's the Ant Matrix from Enet, but there is a huge Riptire. It does manage to find Will in the process, but that was a great Immortality field to save the majority of his team. There's still a lot of damage coming through, and Sadistic is finally starting to equalize after this most recent push. Oh, I thought he was gonna get booped off. That was close. Azrael did, though. Ooh.
Yeah, Eclipse able to just kind of barely scratch one by in that team fight. The call like in Valorant is, "I got mine." Eclipse is saying, "I got mine, guys. Why didn't you get yours?" But JP got theirs for sure. Here on the side of Enet, you're going to be working with the Gravitic Flux into this teleport.
Yeah, I had my side swapped a little bit there in the beginning, folks, but there it is, Eclipse coming through with the sound barrier. There's the Blizzard from Janfer on top of it, continuing to follow up on that extra health. Now they're pushing on the point, wanting to cap it, but there's still a couple kills coming through from Enet. This is looking really good as Milk Dog's trying to keep this defensive point strong, but it's kind of looking lonely. There's a tank and the self-destruct has to be committed to continue to combat him. Sadistic is rolling back here, and spawns are going to be a little too much.
He's so lonely out there on the objective, and I really can't complain about Azrael's use of the amplification matrix there. At that point, it generates so quickly that you might as well throw it out, see if you can enable Milkdud on the Torbjorn. At least you get them closer to another Molten Core, and that's going to be really good for the point presence, because that's not something that Double Shield has in spades against a rush-style comp working with a Photon Barrier.
We have the switch over to the Ana as well for Azrael, and I'm a fan of Ana. That's why! Look at that three-man ante from the high ground. Absolutely nasty. Nobody's getting topped off, and now it is aggressive payday for Enet to continue on. And man, this is such good defense coming through, handling Sadistic's flood and cleaning them up.
It's part of the nature of these compositions interactions is kind of having to give some to take some, and that's exactly kind of what you saw. A really nice ability and ultimate usage there to maintain control over the objective, but not total control. They're going to yield that 34% progress, just 1% above that mark where you would have been able to prevent that one tick, but that's all right. Lose the battle in the war.
TP to the back line. There's the shatter coming through, but it didn't matter. The reinforce was there, and Fox was fortified enough to withstand all of it. It's the Flux going to be used to follow up, but he's frozen. Does manage to get the kill in the end, but it is still Enet holding this defense.
Shatter used there as well on the side of Sadistic, and Will didn't really get enough charge on that photon barrier, I think, to justify staying on the Symmetra. They will do so in order to enable the speedy engagements with the teleport, but you might see that shut down by this high ground position being maintained by Spooky and the rest of Enet.
Here comes the push from Sadistic once again, this time up the front here. Now the TP into the back line, moving around to high ground. Everybody's antied on Sadistic right now. Now they are in the high ground with a nanoed Spooky. He's got a tire, but does get taken down. Doesn't matter. The damage is done, and when you can't heal, it's game over.
Beautiful stuff. I mean, and that right there is the textbook difference between a rotation and a kite. You saw the rotation come in from Sadistic, and then you saw the kite come in there from Enet. Really nice positional establishments from both of these squads. It's enabling all the styles of play that we're seeing so far, but right now the only ones benefiting from it are Enet, coming up on both of their DPS ults to continue to secure point presence in this next fight.
I think Enet does a really good job of taking advantage of wider spaces here on all the angles. Right now they are set up from multiple sides, and every time Sadistic is jumping into the point, they're pretty much already encircled by Enet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Enet procced out two ultimates there, the Molten Core and the Valkyrie. I might have wanted to save one of those if I was a member for Enet. Ultimately, no expenses spared. On that note, I kind of want to know when we're going to see the strategy here change for Sadistic. They're looking a little insane here, trying the same thing again and again.
Curious to see how this blizzard plays out. I think this blizzard could be...
Oh no, Derpy!
Oh yeah, that's so much damage, and that was a lot of burst damage. All it was that they definitely were ready for. That would have been an incredible accretion if he had clipped him in the foot, but Zombie got away.
Yeah, by the skin of their teeth. You also only had the supercharger deployed there from Clocks, and just one ult to win that push. That's really reasonable. You're going to be coming up on 4-5 ults on the side of Sadistic.
This could end the push before they even have a push. There's no sound barrier. An absolutely critical ultimate and a huge potential tide-turning and momentum-changing ultimate. So they're just going to wait for Eclipse to get back. He actually has rolled out pretty fast on the Lucio, so now it's time to really push it.
Yeah, and even if you have the sound barrier just for that last fight, you got the sound barrier and the photon barrier. And the photon barrier. That's what Sadistic's been winning with this evening.
There's the TP coming through. Photon barrier is deployed in time, and now it is going to be heyday here with ultimates. You see the Sadistic going down a little bit, but there are still fight left in both of these teams. Right now, JP trying to continue holding strong, but Sadistic finding the kill onto Azarel, but the res is still successful. Managed to bring back their other healer, but they've lost a huge damage dealer. Can Enet continue to hold defensively strong? The trickle is coming through from both teams, as you can see them one after another jumping onto this point lord.
Yeah, a whole deluge of ultimates here expended from Sadistic, but Enet is able to weather the storm with the stall comp and the revive tempo set by MK, who procs the Valkyrie.
Oh my gosh, that was an insane Valkyrie right there. Absolutely what the team needs. Here's the res on top of it, bringing back so much potential burst damage. Eclipse throws that sound barrier in the heart of the play, but it's only a couple of Sadistic players left on this point trying to cap it. OT bar almost triggers down, but it is one person left, Moira alone, and with the OT bar finally taken down, round 1 is completed.
And only 41% of the objective generated on the side of Sadistic. Definitely wiping the perspiration from their brows, perhaps heading into this defensive round. Name of the game here is a full hold, and I mean I'm kind of on both teams' same page right now. You know, these team fights, they're a little stressful. Watching the ultimates kind of accumulate on one side, unable to be used. It's not that Sadistic isn't using them of their own volition. They're just not able to find that window of opportunity, right? And that's kind of stressful, seeing 6 ultimates, 6 of those bright little check marks on one side. And you know, of course, for Enet, you know, every map since Havana has been match point territory. So they're playing out of their minds for this win. And in week 2, you've got to look competitive to your opponents.
And it definitely will set the tone for how your opponents will continue to view you, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to be one where you get really disheartened and tilted and it downward spirals, people will know that after the first little bit, you're not as much of a threat later in the series. But obviously, Enet has been doing a great job at letting that be the fire that's lit under them to motivate them, and well, it's clutch time and they've been performing.
I feel a little bit bad for you, Waffles. I've gotten to see this before. I'm not sure if you've gotten to see this kind of style from Enet, but we'll have to see if it really pays off for them. They're going to be using this double shield with the... I'm sorry, it's going to be Sadistic using the double shield on their defensive round, looking to slow down the pace of the game as established by Enet.
Schaffner won that Ashe duel right there. Obviously, you know, helps with some mercy pockets for both sides. Milkstud is rezzed, not too surprising considering he was pretty far in the back line and safe. We can see that Enet goes ahead and has moved through the side and is going to rotate all the way around. With Azrael going down, though, it's going to be so difficult for them to push.
Yeah, dropping the ammo and then losing that support, the fight is effectively over here for Enet. They've got to get out.
Yeah, well, I like that MK tried to move back to help the main core of the team with the tanks, but wasn't quite able to scoot around fast enough, and, well, now it's all about the regroup.
Yeah, I think that I want to see Enet play a little bit faster paced here, and that's exactly what I'll get as Clock swaps onto the Winston. That's a Reinhardt, and I have 15. I have 2,000 hours in this game. I know player portraits for sure. Unfortunate stagger there onto Spooky, but ultimately it's not going to matter because you got the Lucio speed boost. Once you get that respawn, you can just run right in. Milkdot on the Symmetra means a fast pass into the objective.
And Spooky just changed over to the Hanzo as well, so going to be a little bit different approach than the Echo sticky focus beam combo there coming through. Janfer, an absolute menace on this Ashe, and it's even worse when they're uncontested. You have to put pressure on a damage boosted Ashe Lord because he will just do exactly this to you. This is disgusting. Please turn and look at him.
No, that's not going to be what we see from Enet. They either don't have the resources to do so or the mental wherewithal to really put that pressure
up there?
exactly, yeah, onto Jaffner, who is coming to this fight with a Bob as well. So you know, hopefully he does something there. But even if he doesn't, Rice is in there, who I've named consistently as a win condition here for both sides, is going to be coming into this with a Gordic Flux.
Vanguard already just TPs onto the point. I love the premeditated flux coming through as he knows that they're gonna. It's obvious where they're gonna land when the TP is there. Now they only got 1 tick in the process, and they've managed to clear out Enet once again and hold strong.
This is looking.
There's some pressure.
Oh yeah, finally. Jaffner's still gonna walk away though. Half HP, albeit, but still holding onto this Bob. This attack phase for Enet, though, is looking a little bit similar to Enet's own attack. They might be able to make something happen here.
Oh, that is not what you want to teleport into. Lava all over the floor, and everyone's on fire. The supports are probably just hearts erasing after all that. A lot of crit people on the point, and there is the self-destruct rolling through for Enet. Doesn't quite find any kills, but there is some space. Bob is out of the picture finally for Enet, and now the Shatter comes through, finds a couple people in the process, and now it's all about cleanup once again. Enet breaking through the defense of Sadistic and gonna take the point.
And it wasn't the most expensive fight that Enet has taken this evening as well. They expend the bomb to drain out the shield resources, force the rotation from Sadistic. Then after that, you can deliver the final blows with a Shatter. The Shatter connects to a shield, so you drop the beat, keep the team up.
I love this attempt here to just barrel on through over to the second checkpoint. Accretion dodge coming through from Milkstud, going ahead and continuing to laser. The backline does get taken down in the end. We see poor Durfee cornered here, but the point,
no touch.
They just capped it that fast. Sadistic's gonna go ahead and take it.
Yeah, and now we have that 5-game series that I was really hoping for. It's going to be Enet stabilizing with a 2-2 here. Really brilliant stuff using that double shield just to maintain it's point control, but not it's that catwalk control, the elevated position that you can just rain down damage onto the point. And we saw Spooky really benefit from that on the Junkrat. I think that I wanted to see Will swap off the Symmetra a little bit earlier, but ultimately for Sadistic, you're going back to control point, and that's where you arguably looked the strongest this series.
That's absolutely true, and you know, if they can continue to perform like they did on that map, there is a chance for them to take this map and come back.
Oasis ultimately ends up playing out a little bit differently, though, compared to Lijiang, where you will see those brawl matchups. You'll see that on Oasis University, but you take to the streets of City Center there, and you are going to be seeing the double bubble composition possibly emerge here from Enet Vanguard, who looked really good with it. They're on Eichewalde, and you know, if you end up being able to play that first map on City Center and pick that up, then oh boy, there's nothing quite more rattling than to drop a control point in a tiebreaker map. You know, drop that first round, and then you have to win 2 consecutive maps for it. And that's, you know, ultimately that's not a lot of team fights that you got to bank for that effort.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really difficult for them. And you know, we saw Enet really, I think they thrived on the bigger the maps with more space, right? We saw how much they utilized all those different angles. So I am curious to see what their plan of attack is on a map I mean, multiple maps like Oasis, where there's so many different approach points and points where you can set up on either the high ground or, like you said, in City Center near the launch pad. Um, the ashes were very dangerous. And I'm concerned if they're going to be addressed in this next map.
I feel it as a Zenyatta main. Just it's one crit tap and then, you know, honestly just a chip of damage and you are out of the fight. And that's exactly, you know, a gust of wind just knocks you right over. And that ain't just for Zen either. That's for any of the heroes of the squishy roster. Sadistic definitely starts out this map with an advantage. Going to Oasis University, this is where their brawl comp is really going to set itself up for success. But if you see the brawl emulated from Enet, not so much in the heroes, but in the style, then you're in for a little bit more trouble. That's exactly what we'll get. The 6-man rush, brawl, zombie, whatever you want to call it, its identity is iconic. It's going to be the recipe for success here for Enet Vanguard. Sadistic falling back on the composition, the heroes that they've looked strong on all evening.
5, 4.
Doors are going to go ahead and roll open momentarily here. We actually have another side swap coming through. We got Sadistic back on the blue side. And, well, of course, with these Symmetras rolling out very, very quickly, Lucio bringing them there even faster. This is the up-close and personal battle here in the small white room. We've seen a lot of people set up in the past here. And when you have a Reinhardt, that's definitely where you want to be luring your prey right into your maw. Now we can see him continuing to sling away, and there it is, the damage coming through from the DPS of Sadistic. They're managed to get the kills, and now time to get on the point and cap it in their favor.
It's really close too, because Enet almost got that, and then turning the tide there for Sadistic, walking away from this fight with the photon barrier. Will's definitely going to be feeling pretty good about that after the push on Havana there. It's Sadistic knowing the territory that they can control, opting for that closed space around the mini pack, and you can see Clocks is getting a little overzealous on this Winston. Got to play a little bit closer to their midline. You move as a unit here in 6-man. It takes 6 to kill 1. That's the principle of this composition as they look to re-engage.
Gotta adjust your Winston brain from your Reinhardt brain a little bit some days. And here it is, a great Ant Matrix opening up the fight here from Sadistic. There is a manual attack on Rice, and the EMP clips 4 people from Sadistic. There it is, Eclipse landing the sound barrier, but didn't quite clip as many people on his team as I was expecting. Still more damage coming through as Milkdud dropped the Death Blossom, but it didn't matter. Sadistic is still raking in the kills and handling these ultimates being thrown at them.
We have a possible stagger here onto Milkdud, but I really like the retake strat that we got to see from Sadistic there. Yielding the objective, saying, you know what, 6-man, you guys want to play wherever you want, that's fine. We'll pull back up into this little mini pack room. You can see they're resetting there. They're so familiar with where you got to play this composition, how you can abuse the walls, but it's not the walls from Mei that's going to influence this fight. It's going to be the Blizzard, as well as Rice is in there. You want to combo the Blizzard and the self-destruct. Might be extraneous, but it's flashy for sure.
Spooky on Doomfist, Milkdud on Hanzo. There are no stuns on the team of Sadistic at this time, so could be a free heyday for Spooky to get engaged. Sound barrier comes through here for Enet. Oh, there it is, a crush attempt once again, but not quite finding it. Still all the kills for Sadistic as the Blizzard was zoning so much of Enet out.
I'm disappointed, Sadistic. You guys know that I wanted the Blizzard bomb and I didn't get it, and now the narrative will spin against you. Look at what you have wrought. Spooky on the Doomfist is pretty interesting, helpful in breaking up that rush-style composition, but how do you get into that mini-pack room and separate the members of Sadistic? It's really, it's almost beyond viable. It's going to take a miracle here to really break up the formation of Sadistic.
Ooh, good opening punch onto Zombie that is going to stun him up just for a moment. He's still engaging with the Reinhardt, and it's taken down. He had the help of Jaffner right there in the process. There are a couple kills coming through from Enet. This is their chance to take the point back. That's a beautiful pin coming through from Clocks, and that's absolutely going to be Enet taking back the point.
And I was wrong. I said it was going to take a miracle to break the formation of Sadistic, and you know, actually all it took was Sadistic breaking formation themselves. You saw Will end up getting chased out by JP, and it means that half the damage in the rush style for Sadistic is, you know, kind of absent. Ultimately, you've only got the utility of the freeze from Jaffner, but when you're not working with the Blizzard, it's really not justified to make that split there.
Ant Matrix on the board for Enet to open up with, but Zombie has the shatter. It's going to be up to Clocks to block it, and he does! A nice shield up in the process, throws his own, but doesn't find anything. Now Sound Barrier's been thrown by Eclipse, trying to keep Sadistic in this fight, but it is a scrappy one here on the side. Milkdud is uncontested, just free firing into the team of Sadistic, finds that headshot, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The tanks are all over him, and 99% cap. It's going to be a... Wow, that was close. I did not know Spooky was going to be able to jump over that in time, but there it is. Managed to trigger the OT bar, but Sadistic going to take this first round.
That mini pack room where Sadistic is so comfortable playing, you know, kind of looked to me like one of those carnival houses with all the mirrors. It might as well have been so many distortions there, just visually speaking, where it was very difficult to discern kind of what was going on. Ultimately, you see those dual amp matrices go up, and you just kind of want to bail out of there. So you go onto the objective, and you see the photon barrier deployed by Will you know, kind of to help this rush composition stay sustained in a territory where the opposition would normally be favored. That was really nice stuff from Sadistic. A very nuanced gameplay, and that's you know, it's these little details that you see these games boil down to in these in kind of these mid upper level games.
Ooh, we've got Spooky back on the Pharah and 2 Casses on
It's a
the
full
board.
dive.
Dreams do come true.
I'm so happy about that.
Here's the, well, I mean, I love this. They're playing it patiently. They're waiting to find the target they actually want to isolate and dive into. And, well, now they're already set up on the point. That means Sadistic has to push into them. And Lucky Bubble already torn through. That's Eclipse going down in the process. And more damage from Spooky just laying into them from behind with these rockets, Lord.
Will striking back though, not with 1, but with 2. It could be swingable here for Sadistic. They want to plant themselves on the objective.
Ooh, this Ant Matrix is also in their favor. Good pressure, but Spooky goes with the Rocket Barrage, taking down Will in the process. There are some nasty supports. Durfee getting the kills for his team, and him and Rice take the point back.
Yeah, really good stuff. A nice Ant Matrix, nice defense matrix as well. So many matrices in this game. I'm not a mathematician. I cast Overwatch for a reason. Rice is in there working on another self-destruct, and I think Spooky just has to continually be mindful of Rice's in there. Just understand that getting Rice's in there out of mech, getting them out of there, if you will, is the win condition. So I think, again, just a little early on that barrage, but I like the aggressive energy we're going to see from this dive comp in this next fight.
Daphner got chipped a little bit low right there. Topped off, no problems. And, well, here's the engagement coming through from Enet. You see that the monkey goes ahead, and, well, there is the Primal Rage being popped. Milkdud finds a kill from his own ultimate, and, well, Enet holding strong on this point so far, and, well, I'm sorry, aggressing forward onto this point so far. They want to take it back in their possession, but there it is, finally taking it back. Sadistic did a good job trying to squeeze out every little bit they could.
Never had it.
You know, that's actually the second Valk I think the series that I've seen from Enet that I'm just kind of a little perplexed by it, but ultimately, you know, you're just going to be able to generate that ultimate quickly enough anyways in this next fight, especially if you keep amplifying Spooky, who's just dishing out the damage.
True, yeah.
Damage is going to be what you need in spades, though. Eclipse coming up on the rally is going to be able to fortify the point presence of Sadistic.
Sadistic, those supports have so much work cut out for them. The damage coming through from Spooky and his little pharmacy pocket have been, I mean, devastating. There's the High Noon getting popped by Daphner in the process. Walks straight into the barrage from Spooky. And, well, from there, Enet feeling good about continuing to hold this corner. Looks like it's pretty tough for Sadistic to squeeze through this choke.
Yeah, they can't quite find the space that they want to control as opposed to University, where it's a lot more clear-cut with that brawl comp. Using the Molten Core is going to buy them a little bit of that objective control. And the Supercharger is just going to be extraneous.
Ooh, and it's now looking optimistic for Sadistic, but that's okay. Enet is going to feel really good about having 99% capped on the point, because they need to win one fight if they want to stay in this series, Lord.
Yep, and Enet can do so. You're coming up on another Primal Rage, which you know, I wonder if we're gonna see the nano tether to that as well. Normally you don't, although you know if the Primal Tech is there from Clocks, then that is a lot of damage. Milkdud as well, and Spooky with their ultimates. That's so much destructive power to mitigate on the side of the supports for Sadistic.
An early kill from Will straight onto Spooky, and another one to follow up on MK. Absolutely massive plays coming through from Sadistic. Basically clutched them that fight right there. 2 ultimates out of, well, I'm sorry, Spooky didn't have his. Now MK's not going to be able to charge theirs nearly as fast moving into this last fight.
And on to JP, which means it's time to go aggressive, time to go deep, and find Eclipse as well.
Oh, and Spooky goes ahead with the pincer maneuver, throws the barrage into the back of Sadistic, and now is just continuing to berate them from above. 99 once again, now for Sadistic, but here comes the flip coming through from Enet. Trickle attempt from Sadistic, we gonna see him? Nah, that's gonna be, oh wow, great job coming through from Daphner for that last touch. Now Enet needs to continue to handle these people trickling in. They're extending the OT bar as long as they can, but Spooky is just being so devastating and cutting down everyone. No one's going to put pressure on him, and that's going to be Enet tying up the map.
I can't watch this, Waffles, because I'll tell you, we're going into this next map, and Gardens is an interesting one because you can run that full dive pharmacy composition. You can go with the double bubble brawl comp. You can also do your rush style comp. So it's pretty interesting, pretty poetic, in my opinion. That you know, the last map of this control point of Oasis ends up benefiting both styles that we've seen all night from both of these teams, especially when University was definitely Sadistic's map and City Center was definitely Enet's map. This is down to the wire. It's a really close series. My heart is thumping. I'm gonna be totally real. I want, you know, obviously I want Sadistic to come out on top of this, but man, the way that Enet is playing it makes me want to watch the game myself.
I love a good fight, and everyone loves a good series like what we've been seeing here. And I feel like this last map is a good, relatively neutral territory for both teams to engage on. This TP across the way is going to have Sadistic be approaching from, well, technically Enet's side. A big ante comes through, clipping 3 people while they're in the immortality field. Still a slugfest as Jaffner does manage to take down Clocks, but Clocks is brought back into this fight just as quickly. Oh! That was so close, Azrael. That was a great attempt to jump back onto the ledge. Zombie still slinging away here on this high ground. Oh, takes him for a ride after that. There's enough damage for Sadistic to take this point.
That was that wasn't even a retake. That was just Zombie saying, you know, kind of after being holed up in that stairwell, the immortality field already being, procced out by Derpy. That was Zombie saying, I'm sick of staying stationary. Let me move as Reinhardt goes in for the pin.
And Spooky goes down for a barrage in your face. Could have kissed him goodbye at the end when he was done, and pretty much makes it easy for Enet to take this point.
In the presence of the photon barrier as well. It might have just come out a little bit too early there from Will. But you know, how are you going to anticipate Spooky coming up on that barrage so quickly? It's for Sadistic, the whole team is going to be dependent on the aggression from Zombie and Rice is in there, now playing for that retake strategy.
Zombie has that Earth Shatter online, and well, now it's TP time! Straight up to the high ground, does manage to clip 1, but it didn't matter. There's still a big boop coming through from Spooky, and the damage is there from Enet to push Sadistic back once again.
Nice stuff from both sides. I like the ability to hold on to those ultimates for the next fight. You really only get the nano out from Azrael, so it was ultimately a really good fight for Enet Vanguard, who have now doubled the objective progress of Sadistic. Lots of reliance on the self-destruct to really thwart Spooky and MK in the air.
Well, this is what happened last round, right? Sadistic had it, Enet had it, Sadistic had it, Enet got 99. So we'll see how history plays out for our final round of the evening. A lot of damage looking through the sky onto that pharmacy, and oh, it's not enough looking at the pharmacy. Still, rockets berating them from above. Spooky's pocket is just non-stop coming through from his counterpart. And oh man, MK of course has Valk ready, no problem.
My ultimate is charging.
This is looking a little harrowing. Will now swapping on the Sombra, partially for touch, partially for the disablement of Spooky. You know, you hack the Pharah, you disable her ability to remain in the skies, make her an easier target for Rice's in there to pick out. Still sitting on that self-destruct, but Spooky's got another barrage.
Oh, and we've seen him drop from above with that barrage straight into the face of the enemy.
No defense matrix now either.
Deja vu once again, this time picking up a beautiful hat trick in the process. Spooky helping his team win this fight, maybe helping them single-handedly this time around. Absolutely gorgeous coming through as Enet is going to come back for the reverse sweep.
Yeah, from the very brink, all the way here to the very end. What a riveting series this one was as well. We saw... Oh, I liked this play. I hope we get to see this.
Oh, back to play.
Oh, no, we don't. This was Derpy getting a triple kill through the amplification matrix on Oasis University. I know it for a fact because whenever I make a play that I know is play of the game, I do the spray and the hello on the ground, and that was one of those plays that I would absolutely do that.
Oh.
I see a lot of myself in these players, but I
Oh.
do. We got to see so much from both these teams. Ultimately, it's a little sad here that we got to see or that we saw Sadistic lose this series. But man, oh man, it was in the midst of some really good Overwatch, and it is only week 2.
Absolutely. And, we are here casting on the KillShot channel. So,
Yeah.
if anything, I would consider Sadistic, the home team, so to speak. But, we are as unbiased as we can throughout the whole thing. And that's how we refine our craft, too. Obviously, both of these teams did a fantastic job. And I really appreciate and admire the adaptation that they brought when, Enet knew they were backed into a corner. Big changes, big clutch plays were starting to come through. Sadistic had to start mitigating some of that. And by our last control map, it was such a great back and forth between these two teams who I would say when they face off again, who knows what the results will be.
Yeah, I would really love to see a matchup between Sadistic and Enet again. I'd like to see Enet again, just in general, but that would be quite the rematch. So much competitive energy cycling between both these teams, from team fight to team fight, duel to duel,
Right.
and as well from the first half of this series to the latter half. You saw Enet really give it their all, and Sadistic put in so much effort as well, just to bring this series all the way.
Absolutely. And you asked for a 5 map series.
I did, yeah, I got what
Ask
I
and
wanted.
you shall receive, my friend, because that was a great one to be a part of. And honestly, what a great kickoff for my Friday evening. I'm over here on the West Coast, so it's like a earlier evening. But
Fair enough.
this was a great play coming through. It actually looks like we are going to get to have an interview. So folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to grab them, bring them into the room, and we'll see what's on their mind. If you're using the broadcast Hi, folks, and welcome back to our match of the evening here at KillShot Esports. We have Captain Derpy from Team Sadistic joining us this evening. Captain Derpy, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Honestly, I'm a little boomed from that game because it was reverse sweep, but like I really enjoy how our team communicates. Like we've really like grown as a team, I think, over the past months. Like it's gotten way better with our comms, with our positioning. Just everyone as a whole has grown, and it's absolutely amazing to see that like we're all just growing together and like everyone's just amazing on my team. I would like not ask for anyone else, to be completely honest with you.
Wow, that's not something many people can say about their entire team. What is the dynamic like with you guys when you're not in game? Do you guys do any other side games or practices together where it's maybe a little more casual, or maybe you play alternative games to Overwatch sometimes for team bonding?
Well, what we do is we just kind of like talk. It's like you're just chatting in Twitch, and you that's kind of what we're doing. We're just chilling, kind
Nice.
of just making self content to each other just to see like how can we fix our personal play in game. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we bond over Overwatch, I think, and that's
Right.
like the main thing that we really do. Just because we all love the game, you could say, but it's like a love hate relationship, I could say, with the
Right.
game.
Oh
But
yeah.
like other than that, really, it's just our love for the knowledge of the game, like just how large brain you have to constantly be, and just out ego.
Well, definitely don't underrate the value of team synergy as well. The fact that you guys do have such a strong dynamic together and that you have such high rapport with each other as well, that'll go a long way into, anticipating each other's movements. When oh, you get aggressive, buddy, I'm here to compensate for you, or, reel you back into the front line where you're supposed to be. Who kind of does that on your team the most? Who's the person that keeps you the most grounded?
Grounded, honestly, it's kind of hard to like pick a single person, I would say.
Ooh, okay.
If I were to like designate a single person though, I would definitely say Will and then Zombie.
Okay.
Honestly, like they're like primarily focused. They're the one that's kind of like not keeping me nervous because they're confident in what they're doing, while I'm over here
Nice.
just like panicking consistently. Um, but honestly, yeah, I would have to say Will. Honestly, on that one.
Nice. Well, Lord, what do you want to get off your chest?
On the topic of team synergy and panic as well, I gotta say that just throwing this out there that Derpy, I've gotten the opportunity to queue into a solo queue ranked match with you, and you're just the best pocket in the state of Texas, possibly in CST, correct time zone as well.
Uh,
No.
Just on the topic of being nervous, I was not doing too hot that game on Temple of Anubis. I was forced on a Pharah. I don't play projectile. I don't play DPS. I'm a Zenyatta main, and so definitely I could I could see where just kind of the way that you carried me in that one game, where there were big impacts made by you in
Yeah.
in sadistic strategies. Particularly, I liked the Matrix on Oasis there. That was play of the game, I know for a fact. But Derby, outside of your prowess on the support role and your flexibility as well, I want to talk about the Orisa Diva strategy. Tell me a little bit about that, because I'm a huge fan of the classic Diva Orisa defense composition. But I kind of is that chasm, pulling strings behind the scenes, or is that a comfort pick from your tanks?
Actually, how we made this team is, I mean that like yeah, that team composition. It was we were playing on Tuesday, and then we versed a ball only team that had the most annoying backline. I mean, not backline, dive comp. They ran a ball diva, tracer echo, mercy Ana. So I was basically getting boomed the entire game, and we were like, okay, we give up. We're gonna run this bunker comp. We made it right on the spot, and then the last three maps, it was Busan, Oasis, and then I think it was Ike that we just kind of turned it around, and we were just like, okay, amazing comp. If they just run some sort of dive, we could play together. Brig Bap OP because amazing MO, and then also Inspire, like absolutely amazing. It was actually thought up by Zombie and Will as well, to say the
Oh,
least.
okay.
Yeah, it was insane how much thought was put into that. Just last second, I love it so much.
One of those things that kind of comes up as a last ditch effort, in that, kind of through the culmination of you mentioned a dedication to the knowledge and the accruing of knowledge of the game Derpy, which is so apt for Team Sadistic. So it's kind of, through the culmination of everyone kind of being on that same page, that that this composition emerges, and I definitely like this style. You guys definitely are going to be looking for opportunities to refine it. One of my questions is, going forward, is Sadistic, maybe going to try and capitalize on opportunities to play against Enet Vanguard again, maybe, off stream or outside of tournaments, in an effort to continue working on you guys' strategies?
Honestly, I would love to verse them again. Like, honestly, I just love how they play, because it's not like I don't know. It's like they change themselves up. They like adapt to the scenario very well, which I absolutely love, because then it makes me like think of another scenario to do or a different strategy, and then it might boom me a little bit, but it really just like I love it at the same time. And of course, I would love to scrim them again. Of course, I would love to do a tournament again. Hopefully in UGC next season, actually, if they're in this bracket.
Or perhaps the finals, if you guys can make it all the way. Which, after
You're right.
one loss in week 2, you guys can absolutely still make that happen. I'll be looking forward to that. Before you leave us tonight, Derpy, you have any shout outs? Anything that you need the world to know tonight?
Honestly, I would love to shout out my main tank, my off tank, and then my DPS, and then my support, which is
That's
Zombie.
everyone.
That's everyone but me, of course. So it's Zombie, amazing main tank, absolutely he block shatters like a god. And then if Reese, he eats everything. Like, no joke, there was one time in Nepal that he ate 3 males because of Echo. Like, I was like, he's literally keeping us alive. And then if we go to Joey, he has hit some amazing, absolutely amazing walls and freezes. Like, he can sustain us so well. And I absolutely love it. He may be the lowest SR, but do not underestimate him at all. And then if I were to go to Will next, I would definitely say his hit scan is very good for a flex support player. Like, it's genuinely amazing. His Sombra, amazing EMPs. It goes
Yeah.
very well with our diva, I definitely think. And then our what's it called? Our main support Eclipse. Oh my gosh. We literally just got them like 2 days ago. And
Wow.
they're literally insane.
Already paying
Like,
dividends. Yeah.
already, literally, they did one beat on what map was it? I think it was, I don't know if it was Havana or Ike that literally say it was Ike, because the Pharah came around from the back. I remember it was absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely absurd how like established we are as a team. Like, I think it was honestly my errors that like lost us that last map. If I were to be completely honest with that, that's how amazing I think these people are.
Captain Derpy, you shouldn't beat yourself up too badly over it. There's always a lot of pressure. And as someone who also feels like, oh, I could always do more for the team, and has that type of approach, don't cut yourself short, because those immortality fields were literally life-saving for multiple people multiple times. Those barrages coming through were nasty and sometimes resulted in 0 kills. So I'll leave you with that fact there, Derpy. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck on the rest of your UGC season coming up, and I'm sure we'll see you again on the broadcast soon.
That would be amazing. Also, those immortalities came from Paz Swagger. Literally, he basically told me, Placer Immortality is better. And then it raised me up to Diamond in a week. And I was just like,
Which flips.
wow,
There it is.
wow.
Oh, so you're
Insane.
coachable too. So
Yes.
nice job there.
But thank
Oh,
you for
well,
having me. Thank you so much.
absolutely. Good luck in the future. And folks, that is going to be us wrapping it up for the evening. Obviously, it was quite a series, very close, with a reverse sweep in the end in favor of Enet Vanguard. But it's only week 2, isn't it, Lord? Plenty of time for people to continue establishing themselves and get comfortable with the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's more than enough time as well. You got to hear it a little bit from Captain Derpy there, and just I'm in awe of the enamorment that I'm sure all of these players have for each other. So heading forward into the next weeks, it's quite an amazing phenomenon to experience. Just the team synergy gradually going stronger and stronger. It's going to be a massive asset for Sadistic, but also for all of their competitors. I'm very excited to see how this UGC season unfolds.
Absolutely. I'm with you there in that same boat. And I guess I might see you here in this boat next week as well. Folks, they do broadcast their matches regularly. Make sure you subscribe and follow to the Twitch stream and catch them when they're playing not at this standard Friday time. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you soon around the block. Take care.